Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivaradari. Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, Lord Krishna has many, many names, and one of the names he has is Vasudev. And Vasudev is about opening up our consciousness. It's about raising our consciousness. So we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva 3 times. So if I start and then you repeat, okay? So we're just praying to Lord Krishna, Lord Vasudev, that may he elevate our consciousness. Okay, thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita. And it's the last chapter, actually, of the Bhagavad Gita. And it's very, very profound. So before we concentrate on a verse, would you like me to just read to you the chapter? I think it'll take about 5-10 minutes, but I think it'll be really nice to get an overview of what Lord Krishna is finally saying to Arjuna. By the way, how many people have heard of the Bhagavad Gita? Many of you. Oh, wonderful. Well done. And who doesn't know but would like to know? Great. Some very honest hands. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, for those of you who don't know, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken almost 5,000 years ago in a place in India called Kurukshetra. And it was spoken by Lord Krishna to his friend Arjuna. Now, we believe that Lord Krishna is on the altar. He's a person. That God is a person. God is not someone who we trying to work out who is God. Sometimes we get depictions of an angry God. But actually, he's a playful God. He's a God who has so much joy and love and exchanges with his devotees. Then there's the Lord who is the Paramatma in the heart, and he travels with us in so many lifetimes, one lifetime after the other. And our human condition is sometimes we think we're very alone. Sometimes we think we're around so many people, there's so many situations, we can be really popular, but deep within our hearts sometimes we can feel very, very disconnected. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? Surely there's got to be more. Why is it that I'm looking for love and I feel so disappointed? Sometimes people aren't able to show up in the relationship the way I want them to show up. And sometimes I'm not able to show up for others. And so others are disappointed by me because, well, it's the material world. There's always hankering and lamentation. So because Arjuna is in this dilemma, Lord Krishna. So here's the thing about Lord Krishna, he won't speak to us if we don't ask him, because the Lord is not intrusive. So Arjuna many of our scriptures start with questions and answers. So Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna, what do I do? How do I do it? And we're just coming to the end of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna some real profound instructions. And if you feel like it's going over your head, don't worry, just listen. Because just by listening to the Lord's words, they're non-different to the Lord, you will feel something in your heart. Sometimes we think we have to work everything out with our mind. But the mind is sometimes a traitor. Because the mind tells us so many things. Be careful, watch that person, I might not have enough. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? But actually the soul is always content. It's always santosh. It's always satisfied. And when we tap into that place within ourselves, and we tap into Lord Krishna, who's always with us, he travels with us lifetime after lifetime, then we get all the knowledge and the understanding that we need. It's not an intellectual exercise. So even when I'm reading this, don't think it's intellectual, just think it's from the heart. And because Lord Krishna is a person, sometimes people say God is Brahman, he's impersonal. He's everywhere, he's in everything. But if we try to find God as a person in that, then we'll be frustrated, because it will just be a mental exercise. So just think that Lord Krishna is speaking to you now as he's speaking to Arjuna. So we start with the first verse, and the chapter's called Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Arjuna said, "O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas. O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "The giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, and giving up the results of these activities is what the wise call renunciation." Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as falsely, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be given up. So here we're told that, the senses, they always want something. I want this, I want that, I want to eat this, I want to get that, I want to buy this. The mind's always going on the next step, what I need, But here, the Lord is saying that we have to control that. And in terms of doing our activities, if I do this life will be better for me, I'll be more comfortable. Fruitive activities means that we do something and we get something in return. But here, we're told that those who are great sages, they never give up sacrifice. they never give up charity, and they never give up penance. Some of you may be fasting. Some of you may decide, okay, well, this is, I'm going to control myself on this. Some of you will give charity, dan. So this is what Lord Krishna is saying. And, in Kali Yuga, sometimes we think, oh, well, I need it more. Why should I give dan? But here it's really, really important that these aspects, we should never give them up. When I was a little girl, my mother used to plan the weekly budget. And she'd say, right, this is for shopping, this is for bills, this is for this, and this is for Lord Krishna, this is for Dan, this is for the guy. So that's really, really important, that we must never give up that. Lord Krishna says, in Gujarati we say, full ne pakri, just even if you can just give a little bit, because it's a good, why give charity? Because the mind thinks I own everything, the ego thinks I own everything. But actually everything comes from Lord Krishna. We come in this world with nothing and we go out with nothing. But if we get something, that's His mercy. So we should always give a bit of dan, because it helps us to let go of the tightness, the miserliness that we can so easily develop. Acts of sacrifice, charity, penance are not given up. Are not to be given up, and they must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the greatest of souls. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to be renounced in the mode of passion. Such an action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. For one who is not renounced the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are renounced order of life have no such result or enjoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know how many lifetimes we've already had. We might have been a plant, a stone, a mineral. We may have had so many lifetimes, but this one particular lifetime we have as a human being, the distinction is consciousness, that we know the difference. What's the difference between an animal and us? There's no difference except that we apply our consciousness in the right way. So, if we don't apply our consciousness in the right way, then we will be thinking as the mind and the false ego is always saying. Lord Krishna has said, I need this, I want this, I need to get this. And when we're doing things selfishly, what we're doing is we're accruing our karma. It's like a bag, The bag gets heavier and heavier because every lifetime we're carrying that bag. And unless we really apply it, as Lord Krishna says here, charity, sacrifice, penance, then we're going to accrue a lot of karma. So whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, and speech, it's caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself only the doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. The false ego, ladies and gentlemen, tell us, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this position, this is how much money I have, this is who I have. And the false ego perpetuates that with also the mind, because the mind is in the mode of goodness. The mind is quite gullible, but the false ego says, there's a part of us that says, listen to me. And then the false ego says, no, don't listen. Don't listen to Bhagavad Gita. It's too much of a headache. Why should I do that? But actually, Lord Krishna is saying, if we really want to understand who we are, then we have to learn to give sacrifice, penance, charity, because it helps us to free ourselves, that we're not so closely identified. You know, there was a man, I think it was in Bulgaria, he woke up one morning and went outside and he saw that a tree fell on his car, and the man had a heart attack and died because he saw the car as non-different to him. And that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We identify with what we have, you know. If we don't have much, we think, oh, I'm not very good, I'm not very nice, you know, because sometimes people value us by what we have. But that's the wrong conclusion. We should never put a judgment on anyone on material, but who they are as a person. And who they are as a person is more than their material body, that there's more. It's actually their spirit soul. I'm going to fast forward now to the actual verse, just to make sure that we've got enough time to cover it. So the verse in the Bhagavad Gita is 47. Shreyan swadharma viguna parma dharmatsu anushityat swabhava niyatam karma kurvanapnoti kilbisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another person's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. So Lord Krishna is saying, better to do your occupation, even if you get it wrong. Even if you think you mess it up, it's better to do that than to try and do someone else's job perfectly. And duties are prescribed according to our nature, our personality. And when we do prescribe duties according to our nature, then we're never affected by sinful reactions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As I'm reading this, think about people who end up in the wrong job or are desperately trying to run away from their responsibilities or their duties. Or they're desperately trying to do something that they're just not designed to do. One's occupational duties prescribed in Bhagavad Gita, as already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Sudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmana, although he may have been born in a Brahmana family. In this way, one should work accordingly to one's nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. So this is really important, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, sometimes we have the caste system and it's entrenched. You know, these people are born as Brahmanas, these are as Vaishyas, these are Sudras, these are Kshatriyas. But here in the Bhagavad Gita, it's saying that it's more about your nature. You could be a Brahmin and very materialistic, very successful materially. And you may be born into a Kshatriya administrative family, but actually, or a Sudra, but actually your qualities are very much like a Brahmana. So here, we're told, really take notice of your nature, your personality. Note who you are, how you are, what you like doing. Because when you understand your natural... So, for example, if someone told me to be a scientist, I'd just fail. Because when I was growing up, when you choose your options, because you might be doing that in a few years' time. And I wanted to choose geography and history and, all those fascinating subjects. And I was told, oh no, because my mother said, you should ask my older cousins, because they'll know. And they said, oh no, you must do science subjects, because then you've got an option to be a doctor, a dentist, or anything, of that type. But of course, I did 2 years of science, and I shan't say rubbish. I was terrible. It was just not. But, if I had 2 years of doing geography and history, I would have been so excited, and I would have been happy. And, sometimes we do that to our children as well. No, you must study this, you must do this. And actually, more and more, you see young people going to school or university, and they're struggling because it's not the subject they like. So here, Lord Krishna is saying, really, I remember my son, he was gifted and talented for IT, information technology. And so when you're gifted and talented, it means you're exceptional in school. And one day he said to me, I don't want to do that anymore. And I said, why not? And he said, it doesn't make my heart sing, Mother. So we have to try and do it. How many people, we work for over 40 years, how many people work in a job that they absolutely hate? So that diminishes us, So here the Lord is saying, note your personality. Are you a Brahmin by nature? Or are you a Kshatriya? Are you a Vaishya? Do you like making money? Or are you a Sudra, serving others? The thing is, one is not better than the other. It's like the limbs of a body. You need all of them for a body to function properly. So that's one really important lesson. Try and do things that give you joy. One shouldn't imitate another person's duty. So I always think, for me, a classic example is you think you want to do this, but your luck is never working out that way. It's never, you think, wow, look at that person, like a pop star or a footballer. Oh, look at them, they're so successful, and all they have to do is play football, and they get paid lots of money, so I think I'll be a footballer. Because, a lot of young people in this day and age, they like the social media thing, and they like to be, famous. But actually, not everyone can do that. So better you think about what am I designed to do? If someone's an artist, they can't be, are you an artist? Oh, that's wonderful. So if someone's an artist, usually they're really tuned into higher frequencies. They're not very, some people can be artists and also very in other, but it's about tuning into who you are. The occupation of a duty of a brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not in the nature of goodness, so brahmanas are like teachers. They have to be patient, they have to tolerate a lot, they have to always be giving. When we think about what teachers do, some people think, oh, teachers, the darlings come in at 9 and they leave at 3. I'd love a job as a teacher. Anyone can be a teacher. And then you don't realize actually teachers are, they've started their work at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're planning, they're still marking at the end of the day. Sometimes late into the late hours, till about 9, 10 o'clock. Their kids might get fed, might not get fed, but they're there for other people's children. And then sometimes people think, well, they have lots of holidays. But actually, when you're there, you're thinking about the children, 30 children. Can you imagine making 30 children's hearts and minds grow? So not everybody can do that. So a brahmana or a teacher has to be in the mode of goodness because it requires them to be extremely patient, extremely giving and selfless. A kshatriya, administrator, there are so many abominable things. A kshatriya has to be violent, kill his enemies. Sometimes a kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. So if you're in leadership, sometimes you have to be quite ruthless, quite demanding, quite challenging. So we're getting to the point where Krishna is also saying, do what's in your nature, but do it for me. Don't do it selfishly for yourself, because that's where you get the karma. And sometimes a kshatriya, such violence or duplicity accompany political affairs, but a kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform a duty of a brahmana. One should act for the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjun was a kshatriya, but he was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there's no fear of degradation. In the business field, there's sometimes a merchant who has to tell a lie for a profit. Have you ever gone to a shop, especially if it's an Indian shop, a sari shop, and you say, oh, well, just give me some discount, And they go, oh, I'm not making any profit on this, So, that's what they all say that, all the businessmen. But actually, they have to keep a little margin, otherwise they wouldn't be able to put bread and butter on the table. So, a merchant might say, oh, my dear customer, for you, I'm making no profit. One should know that without profit, a merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that and he's not making a profit. But the merchant shouldn't think that because he's engaged in an occupation in which telling lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession. So whether one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, it doesn't matter. If he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it doesn't happen so much. I don't think it happens so much here, but certainly when my mother was growing up in India, if there were certain people of a lower caste, they wouldn't be allowed in the house. They wouldn't be allowed to eat or drink. And in fact, people who considered themselves of a higher caste wouldn't eat or drink or come and visit. And so those entrenched inequalities is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fought in the 14th, 15th century. That actually your quality is not by which family you're born in, but it's about your gun, your qualities. Otherwise, we have time after time so many inequalities, so much discrimination. So the conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to a particular mode of nature he's acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Goklananda ki jai. So anybody has any thoughts? Anybody would like to ask any questions or contribute? And no question is a bad question. Every question's a really good question. Do you want to ask a question? Did you understand that? Did you understand that you have to do something that you think you're suited to? if you force yourself to do certain things that are not in your nature, then you'll be very unhappy. But then people around you will be very unhappy too. So, sometimes the role of a mother, in this day and age, we talk about equal rights. But if we've had a body of a woman and we've had children, then the nurturing qualities are really important. You can't just say, okay, I'm not going to be motherly or I'm not going to be feminine, because it goes against your nature. And so often women who want to be successful feel they have to be very masculine to be accepted, to get the promotion. But actually here, Lord Krishna is saying, do your duty. And that means not competing with others. Shishivada Gokulananda, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Gaurnitai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got about 25 minutes. So, can I ask some of you what you do? What's your occupation? What's your occupation, sir?
I'm an IT engineer.
You're an IT engineer. And do you enjoy it?
Definitely, I enjoy my work, and it's my responsibility also. So, yes, I love to follow my roles and responsibilities on a daily basis, because I promised to my company that I'll follow.
Great, thank you. And you're enjoying it and you're thriving. Wonderful, thank you. And you're a homemaker, that's great. Sometimes we hear ladies saying, oh, I don't do anything. No, it's lovely this lady said, I'm a homemaker. What does it take to make a home? You're on duty 24 hours a day. You're a restaurant that opens full time. You're cleaning services full time, laundry services full time. It never stops. And actually, again, the duty of a mother or a woman, we can never repay the debt of what they do, because if they're a homemaker and they're at home and they're looking after the future of our society. They're nurturing. You come home and there's nice hot food at home. Instead of having to get a takeaway. We actually underestimate even the role of women and how much we should appreciate them. So that's one occupation that's very demanding, extremely demanding. But then so it is as a father. So what do you do? This lady was a IT professional and now full-time mother. So it's interesting because Lord Krishna says, did you change from IT to being a mother at home when you had your son? Okay, so that's again, there's no judgment on mothers whose children are in daycare, but you chose that as an did you feel it was your occupation, your duty? Yeah. That's great. So you listen to your nature. That's great because I often work with a lot of successful women, women who are in banking, women who are entrepreneurs, and after they have children, it's very difficult because they've got the ability. It's not like they haven't, but if they choose to continue the path, it's so tight for them in terms of raising their children, unless they've got somebody they feel completely trust to take care of their children. So yeah, thank you. What do you do, sir? Right, all the IT people are lined up, aren't they? Are you all together? Do you all know each other? Right, okay. So that's great. And do you love what you do, sir? Great. So that's variety as well. So you're always going into variety. That's really good. I think when you know your makeup, like I couldn't sit on a desk forever. I need to have different projects and different things to do. So absolutely. Again, you're listening to your, listening to your soul. Um, there are some people up there looking that way. They're thinking, "Don't look at me." So, okay. So, what do you do, sir? Sorry. Oh, call center. Okay. And do you enjoy that, sir? Yeah. And how do you deal with rude people? Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you. And you, sir? Wow. You work in the airport as a baggage handler. You must have really big muscles, sir. Yeah. Yeah. But you enjoy it? Yeah. 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 So here, Lord Krishna is saying that whatever you do, because I'll come round to some of you as well. Yes, uh, he's serving the rest. Yeah, because if you're traveling and your baggage isn't there, people it's like the end of the world, isn't it? So yeah, like everyone's counting on the work that you do. So anyway, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for what you do, and it's so heavy. It's grueling. So thank you. What do you do, Mother? Wow, 20 years. Well, I don't know anyone who doesn't like pizza. So can you imagine when you're making it, you must be giving so many people joy. I think one of the things of nurturing people is through eating. So we'll go around and then I'll share with you what Lord Krishna is saying to you, each one of you, about your professions and how you're spreading love in the work that you're doing. What do you do, Mother? Wow. Wow. Yeah. 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 you just show up and you do the best you can, and taking care of parents. In the Bhagavatam it says that we should never give up taking care of brahmanas, the elderly, the vulnerable, the cows, and children. Those areas, So it's wonderful that you're doing that, because I think it's not easy. But the fact that you're showing up, better to show up than not to show up. So thank you for that. That's inspiring. And we wish you all the best in your healing journey. What about you, sir? So you're a project manager for Google. So you're the one setting all the deadlines. Like, come on, got to get things done. That's wonderful. And so now you're spreading your dharma, and your occupation is to help other people to come to Krishna consciousness. We need every single person in this world because of the contribution they make. And Prabhupada says one of the greatest contributions that one can make is to help people who are suffering. We think that if I buy this, I'll be organized, I'll be sorted. We think we give charity. So there are different types of charity, but the charity that you're doing, sir, is the greatest, because our soul is like it's malnourished. It's so malnourished, and we know so much about life and how to do things, but actually we know so little about the mind and the soul and what nourishes the soul. We spend so much time investing in a career, a life, a house, only to die and leave everything behind. But so what you're doing in terms of helping others to understand that they're more than the body is perhaps the greatest charity. So thank you, sir. I'm going to come to these three lovely ladies. Would you like to share with us what you do? Oh, that's wonderful. Did you hear that? This wonderful lady's a teacher and training to be an art therapist, because, sometimes we just do work, but actually we need to be able to do other things. And what this lady is saying is that through art, you're healing people. That's wonderful. And particularly children. Right, children of special needs, trauma. That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for the great work that you do. Again, in a moment, I'm going to be sharing with you how we can make the imperfect even perfect. You're a teacher too. You train and support children with... Oh, you train adults to support children with special needs. That's wonderful. What do you do, Mother? You're a psychotherapist. So often people come to you hoping that you will solve all their problems and that they'll be happy ever after. Yes, the secret is you can heal yourself.
It's interesting because when you come to Krishna consciousness, there's something about being able to say to somebody, Krishna's in your heart, what is your heart?
Ah. Well, if there was a psychotherapist I wanted to see, it would definitely be you, because you'd be putting me in the right direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, it was so wonderful that you all shared your occupations and what you do, and the permission that the Lord is giving us, that better you do it imperfectly than try to do someone else's. In other words, don't run away and do somebody else's job. Sit tight and do your duty, because in that comes so many realizations, so much resilience, so much robustness. But Lord Krishna says you can make it even more perfect, because we're all going to mess things up sometimes. We're all going to feel disappointed, or others are going to feel disappointed, or we might be pulled up. Well, it's not perfect, or you did this. So Lord Krishna says that we can make our experience absolutely perfect by surrendering whatever we do for Him. Because the false ego says, I want to do it for me because this will make me happy. And then what happens? We get so frustrated. We get so resentful. So we carry so much pain. Because the reality is that there is very little in this material world that will give us permanent happiness. We might have happiness for a little while, and then there's a dip, and the hard times come, and then we've got to try and lift ourselves up. But here Lord Krishna is saying, whatever you do, just show up and do it for me. So like this lady said, the very, very spiritual psychotherapist said, what does your heart tell you? Because the Lord Krishna sits within the heart. He's the Paramatma. He's the Lord where when we feel so lonely and we feel that I'm alone and nobody understands me, I feel disconnected, that when we pray to Him, He is the Paramatma within the heart who can reveal to us the truth of anything. Our senses, ladies and gentlemen, are imperfect. We sometimes look at something and we say, right, I believe that. Or because the senses are not able to actually take in complete knowledge. And the example of that is we don't know how many lifetimes we've had, what we've done, what's showing up in our life. Sometimes we think someone's upset us and we think, right, you're the perpetrator. It's because of you. Yeah, I'm so unhappy. But actually when we unpick and we surrender to Krishna and we say, okay, my Lord. So here's an exercise we can all do when we wake up in the morning. Put your hand on your heart and say, look, Lord Krishna, I know you're with me. And you're so kind. You've not left me alone in all the different lifetimes I've been traveling. So you're here with me as Paramatma. Please help me to direct me. What do you want me to think? What do you want me to feel? What do you want me to say today? And what do you want me to do? So sometimes when it comes to saying, the mind and the mouth, they're like a machine gun. The mind's been thinking stuff and then the mouth just, it comes out. And then next thing you know, you've hurt somebody or you've upset them and you didn't mean to say it, or you said it in a way that... So, this is where conflict happens. But Lord Krishna is saying, just be still for a moment. Because sometimes we think when we do lots, we're productive. But actually it's not about doing a lot, it's about tuning in and asking Lord Krishna, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do this? Does anyone have any questions? You're all so good and so quiet. This is perfection for a teacher, isn't it? To have an audience that are just so there. You must have a question. Because Lord Krishna says you have to have questions. Do you have one, Ina? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's first of all, you stop comparing, because that's where we end up doing other people's duties perfectly and ours faultily, because we compare and we think, oh, wow, you know, she's got that fabulous coat. I think I ought to get that fabulous coat. You know, it looks like $1,000,000, but then I'm going to have to earn $1,000,000, and how am I going to earn those $1,000,000? So we stop comparing. That's the first thing. We look within our heart with deep gratitude for all the good things we have. And, you know, as that lovely lady said, does it make my heart sing? What's my heart telling me? And it's really, thank you. So it's really about silencing the mind. So having a good practice. So how many of you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Wonderful. So we've got 3 people chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So one way to find santosh and peace, shanti, is that by chanting, it's almost like a cosmic shower. It cleanses all the dirty things that are stuck within our heart, so that we can begin to experience our relationship with the Lord. They say lust, anger, and greed, giving that up. Lust means I'm attached, I want this. And when I don't get it, I get frustrated. You know, I want my son or my daughter to behave like this. And when they don't behave like that, I get really angry. So, you know, we're attached because we want, and sometimes it's, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's a beautiful English saying. And sometimes we want to do the right thing, but it always happens the bad way, or you have a bad outcome. It's because we're attached to, you know, we're attached to something. So letting go of the outcome, because when we're attached to an outcome, it's very likely that if we don't get it, we'll be very miserable. So let go of the outcome. Let things unfold effortlessly. Sometimes you know that you're in the right place when things unfold effortlessly. Some people will over-endeavor. So Lord Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, don't over-endeavor, because you just burn yourself out. We're not meant to burn ourselves out. We're meant to, our life is like a house. You've got to visit all the rooms, the spiritual room, you've got to do the economic room, you've got to do the family room, you've got to have the social as well. I think we have to invest in getting to know ourselves better as a person. And ask, you know, is this my mind, or is this somebody else projecting on me what I should be? And who am I really? I mean, I think what you do working with special needs children is incredibly, there's unconditional love there. Completely unconditional love. Because no matter how the children behave, no matter how they are, particularly if they have behavioral problems, you love them unconditionally. So that, when you think about it, is it comes back again to Bhagavatam, that we must protect children, women, children, brahmanas, cows, and the elderly men. So if you're in any one of those roles and you're doing it effortlessly, it's all of us. Everyone has a role to play. So when you're making those wonderful pizzas, you say, Krishna, I'm doing it for you. Yeah? And that makes it perfectly. There's no pap, there's no karma, nothing. You know, when you're doing your different IT projects, you say, Krishna, I'm doing it for you. Even if I mess up, even if it's not perfect, I do it for you. Because Krishna says, when you do it for me, the outcome is mine, not yours. So I look after whether it goes pear-shaped or it doesn't. We get so attached to the outcome. You know, and especially if you're a project manager, then it's like, I have to do this. If I don't, I'll be pulled up. but actually let go of that fear. So let go of the fear for the outcome. You've all been such a wonderful audience. Thank you so much for sitting so beautifully and so attentively. I pray that you will all open up the Bhagavad Gita at some point. And if you're not chanting, please consider getting some chanting beads and chant the Mahamantra, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, forget the sacrifices, forget the pujas, forget this. In Kali Yuga, just chant. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo nastevam, nastevam gatiranyata. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. Sometimes the most simple things, we think, nah, it can't be that simple. It's got to be really complex. But actually, just invest in some time in your soul, nourish your soul by chanting and reading. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to thank you very much. When the conch blows, please do stand up, and wishing you all a wonderful day, evening, and hope to see you soon. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandi Arati Ko Shobha Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandi Arati Ko Shobha Jaya Gaura Chandi Arati Ko Shobha Janani Tatavani Jag man lobha Janani Tatavani Jag man lobha Dakine tai chan Bame gadadhara Nikate advaita shrini Vasa chatridhara Nikate advaita shrini Vasa chatridhara Bhoji ache gauracha Ratna Singhasani आदि कोरी चमन झुलार संजया मुकुंदा वासु गोचादि गाया शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परामरताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परामरताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर मधुर बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर मधुर माधुर बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर मधुर माधुर बाजे मधुर मधुर माधुर निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्रगिरी वदनु जवार कोटि चंद्रगिरी वदनु जवार बहु कोटि चंद्रगिरी वदनु जवार भारदेशी भानवाना पुरी धर्माना आरती को शोभा जानकी तत्वानी जग मन लोभा गौरांगी आरती को शोभा जग मन जग गौरांगी आरती को शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांगी आरती को शोभा जग जन मन लोभा निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य श्री अद्वैता गदाधर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Sita Ram, Jaya Sita Ram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Now we're gonna pay obeisances to deities. Yeah? Chanting the front, obeisances. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahapsa Kaviraj Kacharya Sadara Sachishmara Vacharan Bhaktivedanta Manor Jai Namacharya Shlokanjasta Kurki Jai Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Rabinatha Shri Gopala Bala Bhakta Rabinatha Kurki Jai Prema Se Moshe Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvari Akshivasi Gaur Bhakta Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ram Gamai Yulamai Ki Jai Shri Mati Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Sankirtna Yagya Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokula Nanda Ki Jai Shri Shri Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, Jai Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, Jai Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Now we're going to chant one prayer to Lord Narasimhadev. Bhagavan Narasimhadeva ki Namaste Bhagavan Narasimha Deva ki Jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai, His Divine Grace, Abhaicharan, Bhaktivedanta Manor ki Jai. finally.
Video na paina foto ganun.
Aduh, pada kendaraan. Wala, ari pagkatutok.
हमारे पाजी को दो
You want up there?
सेंस रिसोर्ट पे जाके जो पिकनिक की तरह जो शादी कर रहे हो, तो शादी इज नॉट जस्ट अ सेलिब्रेशन, शादी इज ऑल्सो अ पायस इवेंट। सेलिब्रेट तो बाद में होगा, प्राइमरीली इट्स अ पायस इवेंट इन योर लाइफ, सेक्रेड इवेंट। तो उसका इट्स वेरी अप्रोप्रिएट कि ऐसी जगह पे शादी हो इंस्टेड ऑफ स्पेन में हम नदी किनारे हैं तो वहाँ शादी होगा, मच बेटर टू कम से कम जो है। चलो हम लोगों का अगर ट्रेडिशनल अगर हम लोगों का ऐसा मंदिर नहीं होता है, हम लोग कृष्ण के नहीं भक्त हैं, हम लोग तो सबके भक्त हैं। हम लोग थोड़े जो शिव भक्त होता है वो थोड़े बोलता है अरे हम कृष्ण के नहीं हैं, हम दुर्गा के नहीं हैं। हम लोग तो है ही हिंदुज़म तो है इस तरह की, जो शायद भी है जो हनुमान जी का जो वो भी तो शिव नहीं है, दुर्गा जी है, काली माता है।
ये वाला प्लेट का वाइब डिफरेंट है। I don't know.
और उस आदमी का सोचो ना, उस आदमी का सोचो जिसने वो पूरा का पूरा कितना बड़ा कैंपस काम कर दिया उसको, पूरा सब कुछ दे दिया इसको, उनको दे दिया। कि सही में चादर ओढ़ के बैठा हुआ है नहीं सावला।
देखिए हम लोग के बच्चे लोग क्या बोलते हैं।
जय